Welcome to Inspiration and Transformation from the Banks of the Ganga with Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati, an American sannyasi living at the Parmarth Niketan ashram in Rishikesh, India. Sadhvi is president of the Divine Shakti Foundation, a charitable organization bringing education, vocational training, upliftment, and empowerment programs to women and children. Sadhvi is also Secretary General of the Global Interfaith Wash Alliance and Director of the world-famous International Yoga Festival. Join the musings of an American sannyasi as Sadhvi shares the wisdom and teachings of her guru, His Holiness Pujya Swami Chidanand Saraswati Ji.
Welcome everyone to Inspiration and Transformation from the holy banks of the sacred Ganga River in the land of Rishikesh, India. I know that going to yoga class is good for me, but I find that I resist. How can I be more inspired to get to class? Well, this is great because whether it's yoga class, whether it's meditation, whether it's so much in our lives that we really know we should be doing, somehow we resist. If some ad came on the internet that said 15 minutes a day, you will have health, happiness, peace, prosperity, we'd all click, 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 buy, download, download, order. 15 minutes a day is nothing. But when someone tells us, you really should meditate 15 minutes a day, at least, we resist. You should do yoga, a little bit at least every day, we resist. We have the time. We watch TV. We go on social media. We hang out. We go for tea. We go for coffee. We do all of this stuff. We have the time. The problem is that on some warped level, we do not see how our own inner health and happiness is actually of more value than reading the newspaper. That our own inner health and peace, stability, joy, is actually of more value than posting an image of us looking like we're in peace and happiness on Facebook and spending 15 minutes figuring out what we should write with it so we look like we're really, really, really peaceful or really, really, really happy. Or posing the picture and taking it and retaking it so many times. I don't look happy enough. I don't look peaceful enough. So we have the time. But what we haven't yet learned how to do is to really put our deep self first. We put our shallow self first. We put our lowercase s self first. Got to have nice clothes, got to get my hair done from the right person, got to wear the right makeup, got to look the right way. So I'll go to the gym to get the right size waistline, got to wear the right size clothes, right? Got to have the right complexion. I'll buy the right creams. I'll do all of that for my lowercase s self, for this, the physical body. But when it comes to my deeper self, my capital S self, my true self, why am I so unwilling to do what's needed? And this is a very, very crucial point that so many of us struggle with. I brush my teeth. I eat breakfast. Why don't I go to yoga? Why don't I meditate? And part of the reason, really sadly, is that we've actually just been so indoctrinated for so many years and so many decades to place our importance on the external world. So if the advertisement said 15 minutes a day to a slimmer waist, 15 minutes a day to clearer complexion, 60 minutes a day, we'd still do it. We'd find the 60 minutes a day. Go to the gym, work out, go to the beauticians, put masks on faces, go for facials. There's always time. But we've been so indoctrinated to believe that that's what's important. And this becomes the problem in our life, is we go after that. We buy all of the products, download everything, order everything, wear everything, get all of the face masks, get the creams, get the facials, get this, get that. But inside of us, we're still feeling empty. We don't have that real sense of joy. We don't have that real sense of peace. And that's what yoga brings us. The word yoga literally means union. That's what yoga means. We think of it usually as a union of our nose to my knee. So I've got to get limber enough that I can bend down and touch my nose to my knee. Or we think of a union of our fingers to our toes. I have to get limber enough that my fingers can touch my toes. But it's actually a union of myself to the divine. A union of that lowercase s self, this individual self, to the divine self, to the supreme self, to the truth of who I am, to the light. And that's what yoga gives us. And so in the practice of yoga, whether we choose hatha yoga, the physical exercises of the body, whether we choose bhakti yoga, yoga of devotion, whether we choose jnana yoga, yoga of wisdom, knowledge, learning, whether we choose karma yoga, a yoga of service, yoga of action. They're all ways. Yoga is not just the exercises. The exercises are wonderful. This body is a temple. This body is our medium to awakening. If I were brain dead and didn't have the ability to be conscious of myself, I wouldn't have the ability to awaken. It requires consciousness of consciousness, awareness of presence. Which is why it said that humans are the highest. We're certainly not the highest in so many ways. I mean, the things that we do to each other, no animal on earth would do to each other. I mean, literally, we call them the animals, and we're the ones who act like animals. No animal harms another just for the fun of it. No animal harms another for no reason. So we may act like animals, but humans are said to be the highest because they're the only species that has the consciousness of itself, that has the ability to look at itself. And if we cannot be conscious of the self, we cannot awaken. So that's what yoga brings us. We keep the body healthy because the body is the temple. If the divine lives in our heart, then the body is the temple for it, or the church, or the mosque, or the gurdwara, or the synagogue, or whatever religious background you come from. But the body is then the place in which the divine lives. It's the medium for our awakening. And also it's that which enables us to sit and meditate. If I'm super, super, super sick and I can't stop coughing, for example, it's going to be very hard to sit and meditate. If every half second I'm going, it's hard. It's not impossible, but it's hard. If my back really, 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 really hurts me and I cannot actually sit because it's paining me too much, it's hard to meditate. If I've got a really high fever, it's ravaging my body, or diarrhea that's sending me to the toilet every 5 seconds, it's hard to meditate in those other 4 seconds in between. So we take care of the body. We keep it healthy, we keep it strong, we keep it flexible, so that we can utilize it for our awakening and utilize it as a vessel and a vehicle to serve others. But the yoga happens, the real union happens when we're connected inward. So whatever form of yoga you do, recognize it as the way that's uniting you with your true self. That's uniting you with all of that you're looking for. Yoga is that which unites us with real joy, with peace, because these come with truth. They come with that divine connection. And yoga is that which brings us into that. So, in the same way that you couldn't walk out of your house without brushing your teeth, right? But as kids, they never remember to brush their teeth, right? Parents always have to remind them, did you brush your teeth? Let me smell. Show me your teeth. Did you brush them? Kids never remember. Somehow they don't seem to be as offended by the taste or the smell of their mouth without brushing their teeth. It doesn't bother them. But once they get in the habit of brushing their teeth, well now, nobody needs to remind us to brush our teeth. You couldn't go out of the house without it. Your mouth would feel horrible all day long. In the same way, when we don't recognize how disconnected we're living, we don't realize the need for something that connects us, yoga, something that brings us back together, that unites us. But once we start doing it, then it's even more than brushing your teeth. Because not brushing your teeth, you can just kind of, ignore and maybe eat a mint or something. But if you haven't deeply connected yourself, it impacts every aspect of you. How you feel, how you think, how you breathe, how you move, how you walk. So just start. In the beginning, it's like making kids brush their teeth. Start a rewards and punishment program, whatever you've got to do. No breakfast till yoga. No breakfast till meditation. No teeth brushing till meditation. Whatever you've got to do, just start like that. And then slowly, 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 it will become its own habit. And then you'll really, really see the beauty of it, really see the divinity of it.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Alaya, in the circle on Sunday 2 p.m. Eastern as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
Hi, this is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, you are not alone. Help is just a call or click away through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Please call 1-800-656-HOPE, that's HOPE, or visit RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
Welcome back to Inspiration and Transformation. I'm so glad to have you all back here with me. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So it's that prayer of how do we have that? How do we have the serenity to accept that which we can't change? Well, first of all, there's very few things we can't change. What I mean by that is, we may not be able to change the fact that it's raining outside. But the rain is not the problem. The problem is my reaction to the rain. The rain is just rain. There's no universal good or bad that somehow God likes it dry and doesn't like it wet, or likes it wet, doesn't like it dry. Likes the daytime, doesn't like the nighttime. Likes the summer, doesn't like the winter. The problem comes with me who says, oh, another rainy day. Right? So to me, the problem is the rain, but the rain isn't really the problem. It's my reaction to the rain. So in the same way, in our relationships, you cannot change another person. Unless, of course, they want to change. But the problem is usually not actually what the person is saying or doing, but my reaction to it, my attachment to the fact that they should be saying or doing something different. And that I do have control over. And what you find that's really interesting is, when I literally just change myself, actually everything changes. If you grabbed the other end of this mic cord and I pulled this way and you pulled that way, there would be a lot of literal and physical tension in the wire, right? I'm pulling here, you're pulling there. We've got this tug of war going on. And I may stand over here screaming at you, let go, let go, let go. And you're not letting go. And so I've got tension. And I say the problem is she is pulling the rope. That's why there's tension in the rope. If she would let go, there wouldn't be tension, and then I would be in peace. You pulling the rope is my problem. Well, I can't make you let go of the rope. But if I let go of the rope, automatically 100% of the tension is gone. Not just 50%. It's not like I do my 50%, you do your 50%. It only requires one person to let go of their end, and 100% of the tension is gone. And so in our lives, when there is a problem, it's really important to look and to say, okay, first of all, can I change it? If I can't change it with my words or my action, can I change it internally? Can I change it energetically? Can I shift it energetically? And can I let go of my end of the problem, which is, I think there's a problem over there. The rain is my problem. The winter is my problem. You pulling on the cord is my problem. No, you're just pulling. The rain is just happening. The winter is just happening. This guy's jumping up and down. This guy's doing this. She's doing this. This is happening over here. It's how I interpret those things that creates the problem for me. And so it's not so much a matter of I have to accept everything. It's a matter of me realizing that the problems I face are due to how I move through the world. You could walk into this room and say, oh, so beautiful. My God, this is amazing. We've got people of every color of skin, of every height, of every culture. Everybody's together. We're here in this beautiful satsang. Banks of Ganga. It's perfect. Somebody else could walk into the room and say, my God, there's a chip here in the ceiling, and why didn't they paint that? And or here, it's not really there. They actually did paint it, but we'll pretend it's there. But somebody else could say, why is this here? That thing hasn't been fixed. What about this? What about that? Why don't we have plush wall-to-wall carpeting? It's not about the room. It's about how I'm interacting with the room. There's always things in the people around us, in the world around us, that could be improved. If you were given a job, even with somebody you've never met before, if I paired you up with somebody you've never met, and I said, you've got 2 minutes, give this person all the things you think they should do differently that would fix them. We could think of it. Our minds are great. We're great at picking up shortcomings. Well, you should really brush your hair the other way. Well, you should tuck in your shirt that way. Well, your posture's a mess. Well, you smell bad. Well, we could do that. There's always the possibility for that. But the choice in my life becomes, do I want to look at the world through those eyes? Or do I want to look at the world through the eyes of love, through the eyes of what's beautiful? Because if I did the exact same experiment, I paired you up with somebody you don't know, and I said, spend 2 minutes finding all of the things that are perfect about them. You could do that also, just as easily. It's all a matter of focus. And so the acceptance comes with recognizing it's my choice. Which way do I want to see it? And how can I, and this is meditation, this is yoga, this is spirituality, this is life. How do I interact with the world in a way that keeps me at peace? That keeps me happy, me joyful, and the world around me joyful. Because, of course, if you spend 2 minutes telling the person everything that's right about them, chances are you're going to walk out with a new friend. Whereas if you spend 2 minutes telling the person everything that's wrong with them, chances are you're not. So how do I want to move through the world? And that's the choice that we all have. And that it has to be a minute-to-minute, moment-to-moment choice. In this minute, I could hate what's happening. I could be frustrated with what's happening. I could be annoyed with what's happening. I could not accept it. Or I can change my way of responding to it. Through what you do have the ability to change. You do have the ability to change the world. What you don't have the ability to do is to change the people you live with. As ironic and paradoxical as that may sound, we do have the ability to bring about change in a beautiful way in the world. But if I go home and think that what I'm going to do is change my husband or change my mother-in-law or change my colleagues, or change my boss, or change my employees. You're not. The only way you can change them, interestingly, is by changing yourself, by letting go of your end of the cord, so that the tension automatically dissipates.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization. Their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth Radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Like Baldwin with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I grew up loving circuses and other traveling animal shows, but it never occurred to me what life might be like for the animals. Training wild animals to do things they don't understand takes force. Routine discipline with a hook or whip with the heel of a boot shows the animal exactly who's the boss. Don't patronize animal acts. Please contact People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
757-622-PETA.
Welcome back. This is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati with inspiration and transformation. Things that we see when we meditate. Different shapes. What is the meaning of that? Meditation, the whole reason we meditate is to see ourselves. Along the way, yes, you may see other things. You may see lights. You may see shapes. You may see all sorts of things. But the point is to see yourself. So you don't want to get lost or focused on what you're seeing. People sometimes ask about different colors of lights or different types of shapes, and that's what this question is on. And yes, so many things come in our meditation. But that's not what the ultimate purpose is. It's not like a personal laser show or like a personal vision of lights and sounds and colors. That's not what meditation is. It's not entertainment on the inside of your own retinas, the inside of your own eyelids. Meditation is about seeing the self. And when we get really caught up in what we're seeing in the meditation, the problem is that we lose that connection to the self. Otherwise, we go off. And yes, you do see things. I won't go into too much of that tonight, but different people absolutely see different things that come. Some people don't see colors, don't see visions, don't see shapes. They see peace and love. And a light that may not be sparkly in some type of color, but a light that unites us all. There's no better or worse, higher or lower. Sometimes people will also ask, well, is this a higher level? If I see this color, is it a higher level? Or this shape, is it a higher level? And what this means is that I've brought my concept and my construct from the outer world into my life of meditation. Where am I on the ladder? This is the question we ask ourselves academically when we're studying. I remember when I was in college, the teacher used to put all of the exams in boxes outside the exam room, outside the lecture hall. And the boxes were done alphabetically. And so all you had to do, all the exam papers were in there, and all you had to do was find the right box and flip through to get yours. And of course, as everybody would flip through them, you saw not only yours, but you saw everybody else's. I mean, there was no confidentiality in it. If you happened to be the first person to show up to pick up your exam, you literally could flip through every single other person's number. It became not so much a matter of what grade did I get, but did I do better or worse than certain people? And in our lives, whether it's academically, whether it's professionally, whether it's socially, whether it's what we look like, taller, shorter, thinner, fatter, fairer, darker, whether it's how much money we have, we very rarely evaluate ourselves just based on ourselves. It's always in comparison, or rather competition usually, to others. And when we bring that into the meditation, where am I on the ladder? Have I seen the right shapes? Have I seen the right colors? Oh, have you seen shapes? Have you seen colors? All we've done is we've missed the point of meditation, because I've brought that whole concept of separateness. I've brought the whole concept of my value being based on what I do. I got 100%, I got 98%. That means not just, I mean, really, what does getting 98 on an exam mean? It means you answered the questions 98% in accordance with the way that the person who was grading the exam thought they should be answered. That is exactly what a 98% on an exam means. But to us, what it means is, I'm a worthy person. I'm a great person. Oh, you only got 60? I'm 38 percentage points better than you are. And this is part of life. It's not a particularly adaptive part of life. It's an aspect of life that tends to bring a lot of pain, because many people, for example, are very, very smart, but they're not necessarily very good test takers. Many people are geniuses, but they can't necessarily fit into the box that whatever corporate world they've started to work for wants them to be in. And so they feel like failures. They feel lower. They feel less worthy. And we know this is a part of our life. I mean, I'm not sharing something brand new. The problem comes when even in our spiritual paths we bring it in. Our spiritual path is supposed to be something that shows us the truth of who we are. It's supposed to be something that takes us out of this competition, out of this judging ourselves based on my test scores, based on how much money I make, based on whether I've got the corner office or a cubicle in the midst of 200 other cubicles, whether I've got a house in the right part of town or an apartment in the wrong part of town. Our spiritual life is supposed to be that which helps us understand I'm none of those things. I'm not my grades. I'm not my career. I'm not my bank account. I'm not the fairness or the darkness of my skin. I'm none of those things. What I am is the soul, is consciousness, light, spirit. But because we've been so indoctrinated into this concept of a ladder and goals, we bring that into meditation. And so we end up evaluating our meditation the same way that we evaluate other things. Today I saw the shapes. I'm getting there. Today I saw this color or that color. I'm evolved. And what that does is it keeps us from actually experiencing the truth of who we are. Because consciousness is neither better or worse. It's not higher or lower on some sort of ladder of value. We can talk about lower consciousness and higher consciousness, but the consciousness that is who we are is not better than someone else, less good than someone else, of more value than someone, of less value than someone. So, on one level, what the question specifically asked is, are these shapes connected to yantras? Sure. But that's because the yantras were created out of the shapes of the universe, the sacred shape of the universe. I mean, it's like saying, is that sound I hear in my mind connected to Om? Well, yeah, sure. Because Om is the sound at the foundation of the universe. So if you are able to remove that, which keeps us from being connected, you're going to go back to the very foundation of who you are. Soul, consciousness. And it's not surprising that sound, shape, might also come along in there, also both being at their most fundamental levels. So, yes, we see things, we hear things. But when you meditate, the only way to know if it's right or wrong, good or bad, is if you have an experience while you are meditating of the truth of who you are. And it may not all happen at once. I'm not saying that your meditation is useless if you don't have an experience of being God. But the way to know that we're meditating is suddenly all of the stuff that's usually going on in our minds, which when we look at it is really useless. I mean, it's probably one thought out of 1,000 that is actually of any value in our lives. The other 999 of them are either just absolute nonsense, an alphabet soup of all of the possible pieces of information we're holding in our brain, and as though someone literally just opened a can of Campbell's and, dumped it out, and all the letters came out in their own way. It's like that in our brains. So a large portion of it is just that. That's what we call the monkey mind. Randomly, back and forth, here, there, no sense, no meaning, no purpose. Other pieces are judgments, our desires, our fears, what we regret, what we wish for, what we want to hold on to, what we want to push away. But none of that is actually of much benefit to us, because we're not examining them in any sort of functional way. It just goes on like this commentary in our mind. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. You are so stupid. That was just ridiculous. What are people going to think of you? When are you going to learn how to talk to people? Again, you've made such a fool of yourself. Or, my God, I can't believe he said that. Who the hell does he think he is? How can people be like this? So we're not actually trying to go somewhere productive with any of it. It's ruminations. And so in meditation, the good meditation, the right meditation, is an experience of freedom from that, which by its nature takes us into an experience of who we are. It's not about bringing in some very special power, some very special lights and sounds and shapes and things. It's about quieting the ruckus, at which point you can actually hear the Om that has been there the whole time. Pujya Swamiji always says, sadhana, our spiritual practice, does not bring God. It's not like God is sitting up there saying, oh, she's got a good meditation. All right, I'll go visit her today. She's got a lousy meditation or she doesn't practice, forget it, I'm going to not go visit her. God is there. Divinity is there. The light is there. The peace is there. The Om is there. The problem is, what else is also there? And that's what our meditation is about. So if you are able to experience, even for a moment, because in the beginning it's usually always only just a moment, but fortunately those moments tend to get longer. The spaces between them tend to get shorter. If you're able to quiet this and experience a moment of that, whether it sounds like Om, whether it sounds like silence, whether it sounds like love, if you're able to experience that, your meditation is in the right direction. So don't worry about what else you see. Yes, it's taking us into the foundation. We'll hear root sounds, see foundational root shapes. Sure. But don't focus on looking for that. Meditation is not another goal to be achieved. There's not a checklist. You could take 20 long-time meditators. I was about to say expert meditators, but I purposely didn't. Long-time successful meditators. Successful meaning they have this experience for long, unbroken periods of time. And if you asked them to describe their meditative experiences, you would get 20 different answers. If we go into Ganga, you go down, say from our Arti, we've got these nice marble steps that go in, and you could jump into Ganga or hold the chain and dunk yourself into Ganga. You could go downriver a little bit, a few hundred meters, where the marble stops, and there's dirt. You could walk into Ganga from the dirt. You could go upriver, jump off a big rock into Ganga. You could get into Ganga innumerable ways. And if you take 20 people who have just bathed in Ganga and you say, tell me about it, you're going to get 20 different answers. Because the experience feels different. They were all bathing in the same river. They may have entered from different ways, but they landed in the same river. but their experience was different. No experience was better or worse or right or wrong or higher or lower. So allow our meditation to take us into the truth of who we are and not be yet another goal, yet another thing that we've got a ladder to check of what I've gotten to. Let it be that in which we rest from all of the rest of the world in which we are being judged and compared, in which there is a ladder to climb. Let meditation be the true respite from that, rather than bringing that model into our meditation.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Like Baldwin with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I grew up loving circuses and other traveling animal shows, but it never occurred to me what life might be like for the animals. Training wild animals to do things they don't understand takes force. Routine discipline with a hook or whip with the heel of a boot shows the animal exactly who's the boss. Don't patronize animal acts. Please contact People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
757-622-PETA.
Welcome back. This is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati with Inspiration and Transformation. The science of yoga, which includes pranayama. It includes the mudras. It includes, of course, the asanas with the bodies. It includes even some of the kriyas that are done. So the school of yoga includes all of those and probably even way more that I haven't mentioned. They're all very, very powerful. But they're not all appropriate for every single moment, because they all have different impacts on us. And so in the same way that you wouldn't do the same pranayama first thing in the morning that you would do before trying to go to sleep at night, that you wouldn't do when you had a fever, in the same way you're not going to do the same asanas all the time. Some are for certain situations, some are for others. I mean, I remember my yoga teacher in America would have a room full of 100 students, out of whom 50 or 60 were all doing one asana the same way. And then a huge chunk of people, he had all doing different things. This one's pregnant, these are on their period, this one's got low blood pressure, this one's got high blood pressure, this one's depressed, this one's got jet lag. You know, whatever it was, he had all these people. Because the rule always was, before class, come up and tell me if you're suffering from anything. So 2/3 of us, approximately, would be doing the same asana. And then at least 1/3 of the people, if not more, he had in different variations of that asana or different asanas entirely that were more suited to their physical, emotional state. And so this is true for all of that. So I would say, with regard to the mudras, take them really as a science. Take them as a healing modality. And anything that is wonderful for us is not necessarily wonderful in every single moment, in any capacity. You know, even water, which we need so much, which is the nectar of life. You actually could drink too much water in too short a time and throw off the whole balance of salts in the body. And so you don't want a situation where you take these and throw all of them into every situation. But this is where your relationship with them grows. As your awareness of yourself gets more and more subtle, you're going to know, this impacts me in this way, this impacts me in that way. And of course, there's a science of this mudra impacts in this way, but you're gonna have a personal science. Here's where I find this useful. Here's the impact I find on that. So don't worry, you're not going to harm yourself. But there's a science and there's a sacredness to it that I would really encourage you to hold on to and to understand the time and the place and the amount of each of them in the same way that we would with anything that's both scientific and also sacred. This brings to a close this hour of inspiration and transformation. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad to be together with you all each week, and I look forward to being together again next Thursday, same time, on OMTimes Radio.
Bye.